How many of you have done? You?
Yes.
So you're an expert. Will you just teach? 'Cause-
No.
okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
Think about it. Okay, well, this is the first time we've ever done Ignite in this room. Isn't that amazing? We always do it in that large training room and we have like 6 people and it's super awkward because we're all in this giant room and yelling at each other from across the way. So hopefully this will be nice. Okay, so we're gonna start with introductions with people. I'll introduce myself a little bit and we'll go from there. So let's start here.
Me?
Her,
Page.
Paige. Okay,
Yes.
Paige. Welcome, Paige.
You should introduce myself, sorry.
Yes. Introduce yourself. How long have you been licensed? Are you licensed? Everybody's licensed, right?
Yeah, no,
No.
I'm looking up online.
Okay, but you've passed the test.
Oh, yeah.
You're pretty
yeah.
much licensed. They just haven't
They just haven't sent it to me yet.
dotted
I
some
don't know.
i's. Great.
I'm not totally official.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm kind of an imposter.
No, that's okay. You're not an imposter at all. Okay, let's start with Paige.
My name's Paige. I got my license in June.
Okay,
And
so we're like a month
Yeah.
in-ish, month and a half. You are so great. Hey, thank you.
You
Thank you.
feel like-
Thank you. Me and Molly go way back. We'll talk about that in a sec. Okay, keep going. No, sorry, next.
So
No, you're good.
I'm Tyler Stubbs. I got licensed in February. I didn't go full time till May. So now
Okay.
now we're gonna.
So Paige and Tyler, the couple team, are you guys like a team? Are you trying to do this together or?
Yeah, so, yeah, so right now we're on like the PCC and everything.
Uh-huh.
After, I think we might join Todd and Carl.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We've gotten pretty close with them. So.
They're like, okay, it's
It's
all neutral, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. They're fantastic. I love Carl.
Yeah, so.
Okay,
My name's Aaron, your name's Pete,
I'm Josh. Peter is my boss.
what is it say Peter up there?
Does it say Peter up there? Oh, that's hilarious.
So, okay, Josh, I already met you.
We have, yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
Wait, so remind me your name?
Aaron,
Aaron. Okay, so we've got Paige and Tyler
Mhm.
and Aaron.
Aaron,
Okay,
2 A's are on.
2 A's are on. Okay,
Avon. So I've got my real estate license. But I haven't been doing regular real estate, I've been doing land right away.
Okay.
Work across the country,
nice,
boring land rights for big utility projects like power lines, pipeline,
nice.
well, gas wells, highway. So that's my background. I came here last year as part-time. And then I've decided to do this full-time now. So I signed up again here,
Nice.
mostly just a short time last year. But I went back, did the same kind of work. Now I'm kind of ready to staying home and doing this kind of thing. So it's pretty complicated.
Nice, awesome. Okay, sweet. So you said you've been doing this 10 years, 8 years?
Right away.
Yeah,
Well, I've been licensed about 10 years, but
yeah, 10 years. Okay.
in Utah, but I've had other licenses.
Have you done any work besides the land deals, the right of ways? In those 10
Oh,
years?
I've been a realtor test before, part-time.
Okay. Okay,
Exactly.
so this is the full-time push.
Yeah, it's kind of a full-time push and I'm kind of tired of being on the road. And,
Yeah.
Even though I enjoy
It's
it,
totally fair.
I enjoy meeting the landowners.
Yeah.
I have to.
But it's a lot.
I'm addicted to landowners, I have to be in front of them.
Nice,
So,
Perfect.
I get depressed.
nice.
It's kind of my life, but I love real estate and, right from the beginning to the end, you know, what I mean,
Yeah, awesome.
as far as how our country was founded, the U.S. retainer system, the whole, the whole title, done title negotiated for different projects and acquired land rights.
Okay,
So it's been a good career.
okay, awesome. Well, we're excited.
I'd like to be a new, I'd like to be, I'm kind of focused on this, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I should shut up.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm
Okay.
Jana.
Jana.
I do not have a license yet.
Kind of license.
At the end of July.
Nice. Should take
and-
you 10 times? Just
Pardon
kidding.
me? No, just once.
Wow, all right. Raise your hand if it took you only one time. Bam, only one. Not even me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took it twice.
Oh, I was a studying fool up until the time I had to take my.
That's awesome.
test. So anyway, I this is sort of my second career. I was in the tech industry for quite a while and then I took some time off. And now my youngest is 16 and I am ready to hit the ground running.
Nice.
And I have two sisters that are real estate agents. One is married to Stephen Eldridge, which is over
Yep.
in your title company.
Yep.
And Amber Burke is my mentor.
Oh, nice. Okay. Wait, Amber Burke is, oh, your mentor, not your sister.
No, my mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like-
You're like, you look nothing alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Interesting.
yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Oh, hi, my name's Leilani.
Leilani.
And
Oh, wait, so I want to make sure I get names. Paige, Tyler, Aaron,
Jana.
Jana.
Yeah.
Okay, and Leilani.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I passed my test in May, but I didn't activate my license until like 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
um,
Okay,
ready to get
awesome.
going.
Awesome. Okay, we're doing intros.
I'm Sawyer Porterfield in the industry about a year and a half, a little bit over California and living over here in Vineyard. I love it. I've been in real estate since I was a kid. I did property management and investment for all of high school since I was a little kid in middle school and just switched over. We liquidated that business in California and then came up here and became a realtor. So I love it.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got Leilani, Jana, Aaron, Tyler, Paige, and Sawyer.
So
Okay. All right, I am Josh. So I have no idea why I'm teaching you this class. I'm just kidding. I've been licensed for 3 or 4 years now, but I have been very much in the operations role. So I have been the director of operations for 2 different teams. Right now I'm with Peter Merkel, and that's probably where I'll stay for long term. I used to be the director of tech for this brokerage. So the fact that we have KW Westfield, I built out kwwestfield.com. A lot of the way that the brokerage runs right now was because they needed someone to figure out how do we become more of a tech company. So that's why I know Molly really well. It's because I worked directly with Molly for a long time with Novalee and Dean and all those guys, and then Peter pulled me away from them. So I've been becoming a way more of a full-time real estate agent myself recently. Right now I have 3 clients that I'm working with. One of them is under contract.
awesome.
And so I know some things, but usually what I teach is database management or grow your database or something like that, but all those classes got taken. And so they asked me to teach this one. So we'll see how it goes. Huh? So fun. Tomorrow I'm teaching online lead generation in the shifts class. You guys have gone to those shifts classes?
Yeah.
We do not do links for that one. That one's very strictly in person. So you should come. It'll be really good. We're gonna cover some really key things in that one that are simple. I'm trying to teach like on a scale of 1 to 10. If 10 is I know everything about marketing, I'm trying to teach 1 through 5 with a few 10 nuggets. Does that make sense? And so it should be pretty standard, but good start right now stuff. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about Ignite. Let me get rid of this.
What is it?
Ignite. So Ignite, this whole class is designed, this is not the intro class, which is hilarious, but this whole class is designed to give you all the things you need to basically jump right out into the field after this. So this should cover most of the most important topics. I mean, a lot of this is going to be practice what you preach kind of thing. So the more practice that you get in it, the better you'll be at it. But today we're going to cover these things. So we're in connect with your market. So these are all the classes in Ignite. Spark your career, embrace your job, connect with your market, define your value. The only one in this first section that we'll cover in this session, in this month of Ignite, is this one, connect your market. And then we'll jump into these, generate your leads, grow your database, so on and so forth. Usually I teach grow your database. Lead follow-up, transaction, so on and so forth. And so today, this is kind of what it looks like. Know your market, build your expertise, utilize resources. We'll go through a bunch of ahas. I love ahas. So please think about things that you learn and we're going to apply them. It's going to be awesome. I don't care about the quote. Know your market. Let's jump into it. Okay. So research and preparation. How many of you have been on the MLS?
Right now.
You all have access to the MLS? You don't have access to
I
the
know,
MLS
but I've
yet.
been on like.
Okay. That's fine.
Because it's
As a peasant. Okay, so everybody pull out, does everybody have laptops or anything, or we're just gonna watch me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Set this up. I'm almost there.
Okay, awesome. It's okay if you don't have a laptop or anything, you can just watch me. Because I'm gonna act like I know what I'm doing, but UtahRealestate.com is gonna become your best friend. So today we're gonna cover a lot in UtahRealestate.com. Oh, not join. Oops. Let me sign in here.
There's section 3.
Nice.
This much, I said, hey.
There you go. Okay, in UtahRealestate.com, up here, you're gonna see a whole bunch of tabs. The way that you navigate this is usually people will use these, probably these 3 tabs the most. So search. Also my listings, and then statistics. CMA is, depends on how you run CMAs, but this is really helpful too. But we're gonna hang out in search today a whole lot. And then also a little bit in statistics, okay?
They use clients like every single day as well.
You use clients, you don't have a CRM, a separate CRM?
Well, it just, so when you send properties on front porch, it shows you everything that you send or favorite or give them. So like it tells you all the emails that are sent to them and you stay on top of it.
Uh-huh. So my suggestion would be to not use this though for your clients.
Oh, sending in properties?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Use your CRM because ideally your CRM will be, that's where all your people are anyway.
about to learn.
Does that make sense?
That's command, right?
So that would be command, for example, right?
Yeah. I've never
And
used
so if they're in command on your website or on the app in
Mhm.
command, right?
Mhm.
Then it will tell you if they're looking at properties, if they're requesting to see properties,
that.
what properties they're looking at. Any CRM that you use should be able to do that. Real Geeks use Real Geeks, right?
Yeah.
So Real Geeks should be able to do that. And
Oh, yeah,
then,
really good. It's really good. I just used that for my referrals from
okay,
Scott. Like it said. that I
Yeah.
use this, but yeah.
just
I can
because
use
then
command.
you're not using multiple systems to manage your clients,
Mhm.
basically. Does
Yeah,
that
I
make sense?
can't use Real Geeks for like my own. That's like the thing. It's weird, but
Oh, okay, interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
But well,
Anyway, so that's, yeah. So that's why I didn't bring up clients, because
so I
because
should-
you have the ability to, but if you're using a competent CRM, then
No,
ideally you
I
would
need to change. You're gonna teach me right now.
use that. Okay, does everybody know what a CRM is? I'm gonna use a bunch of lingo. Let's talk about CRMs, okay? A CRM is a glorified spreadsheet. That's really what it is.
Well, why didn't you just explain it?
It's not a spreadsheet. So a CRM is called a customer retention something, I don't even know, management something. Customer retention manager.
I don't even know.
So a CRM includes things like command. So KW includes a software called command, where you're gonna run most of your business through, okay?
And then it's the database.
Command is the database. Yep, you'll put your people in command. There will be a class on that, and so they'll cover that. Well, so one of the Ignite classes should cover that. Uh-huh. And then in command, so command is basically, it's where you store all your people, which is why it's like a spreadsheet. So you'll have their phone number, their address, everything, right?
Right.
You can tag them in certain ways, but also it will allow you to do things called smart plans, where you can automate your contact with them. Does that make sense? Which is why a CRM is better than a spreadsheet or using the MLS, for example, or whatever it is, because everything happens in one spot where they're looking at properties, you're emailing them automatically. Pretty much everything's happening in this one software. Does that make sense? You can send mailers from there. You can know if they receive them, so on and so forth.
Which one do you guys use?
We use Chime.
Chime.
Mhm.
You like
So-
that more than command?
Command is amazing if you are an agent, a solo agent and not on a team. It's perfect. It's everything you need. But we are a team and Command was built not to be
Not
for teams
Oh, okay.
originally. It's really tricky to get team specific because every team runs different. So when you go agent specific, it's really easy. And that's what KW started with. Command's probably 2 years in.
Oh, really?
When I was the director of tech, that was my job, was to teach Command how to use it. And when I started, it was 10 times worse than it is now. Does that make sense? Because that's how new it is, right? Like it has changed just in the past 2 years to be way more competent and adequate as a CRM. So You guys are coming in at a great time. Anyway, any questions about that? A CRM? This class is not designed to go too much through. Hi, hey, welcome. Tell me your name.
Aaron.
Karen.
Hey, Taryn.
Nice, awesome. Welcome, Taryn.
Yeah, Taryn.
Heron. You know, okay, so we're gonna dive though, we're gonna talk about stats for a little bit. We're gonna dive into Utah real estate. Does anybody know where you find stats? Where's the best place to look for statistics on Utah real estate? That's a great answer. So this is a very good place. I just logged into the utahrealestate.com right there. Brings it right up. Average days on market is what DOM stands for. What does that mean? What does days on market mean? Uh-huh. So this is across all avenues, multifamily, whatever it is. Well, actually, this is just residential. It's how long the house is staying on the market before it goes under contract. Right? Average list price, this is where we're at, which is nuts. That's so high. Average sold price. So you can see there's probably like a, what is that, 1% difference? 2% drop between list price and sold price.
Yeah.
So we're in a decline right now. With that number of sales, 2160. If we go to residential, we currently have. So I looked in search, I clicked on full, and this number is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
90, oh geez.
That's up from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we're going up about 100 houses a week, 100 to 300 houses a week listed on the MLS, which is crazy. I would have you know that in March, that number was like 2,000.
Yeah, I can see.
We've gone up like 7,000 houses on the market. So that's crazy.
March is from 2,000 to 7,000.
To 9,000. Yeah, we've gone up 7,000. I think at the beginning of the year, we were less than 2,000. Which is nuts. Anyway, so that doesn't really, well, let's see here. I want to see what I want to cover right now with this. We're going to go through, I'm trying to debate when I want to go through using this right now or in a second. Let's do it now. Okay, so someone tell me where their mom lives in Utah. You,
Springville,
Leilani?
Leilani.
Leilani, dang it. Okay, your mom lives in Springville. Is it okay if I use her as an example?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say a client comes to you and they say, hey, how much is my house worth? Right, we're not going to run really a CMA, but we're going to just practice using this for just a second to look at different statistics. So let's say that you're looking at a specific house and you're trying to get an idea of the vibe of the neighborhood. So in here, when you click on search and residential, so you can switch between looking up residential houses, multi-unit. What's the difference between residential and multi-unit? Uh-huh.
Multiple families in one building.
Anything more than one unit is multi-unit, right? So you're exactly right. So that's duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and then sixplexes. Sometimes there's 5plexes, I think, or whatever that number is, whatever that word is, you know, who knows what that word is. 8plexes, 12plexes, so on and so forth. Like once you get above one, then it's in multi-unit, okay? So you're gonna have to differentiate between the two. Okay, so if we're in full residential, we're looking in Springville, right? So we'll scroll down here, choose the city of Springville. In fact, let's just look up the house itself. Wait, did she buy it built or did she buy it owned?
I think they built it.
Okay, so it might not be on the MLS.
Yeah.
Because if they built it, sometimes builders don't put houses on the MLS. And so why don't we just look up close to it?
Oh, no.
Do you know like the area of where they live?
Yes.
Okay. So let me do this. So I'm gonna look up Springville for the city. So there's 75 houses on the market right now in Springville. That's not very many. So let's jump to Springville. So here we are. Am I on this side or on this side? up here,
Yeah,
okay?
so. I'm trying to think. What that is. Oh, okay, yeah, so you see the Main Street,
Uh-huh,
it's like to the.
Right, okay.
Right there, about, actually where the mouse is.
so right in here,
Probably up a little bit more. Oh, I know where, yeah, keep going up. Okay. Wait, and then go back down just a little bit more. Okay, so you see the 1150 north,
oh, hang
it's
on,
on that street.
oh, it's on 11, perfect. Like this is like freezing out, okay. Okay, so we are gonna go, okay, so there's a little button here called the radius tool. This is a really helpful button, so we can click on a spot, so we'll say where? Here,
Down a little bit more.
down, this way,
You didn't have to, I mean, I'm on real estate.
oh, on
Yeah,
1150,
right there, yeah.
okay, right here-ish, okay.
Mhm.
Logged in.
Okay, so I went to search. So search and then full residential.
Oh. No, that's not on that one.
Yeah, we're in utahrealestate.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that MLS?
That's the MLS. Yep.
No. it doesn't.
Yeah, utahrealestate.com is like like most of Utah's MLS.
Is there only one like MLS? Is this like?
Uh-uh.
maybe
There's
okay.
multiple. So there's one in Park City, there's one in St. George.
Okay,
And so it's like tricky. Like sometimes you'll see houses show up on our MLS, but if you're not a member of the St. George MLS, for example, then you won't be able to do very much work down there. And
okay,
they're really stringy down there.
okay, that makes sense.
They're kind of,
Like, yeah, my husband, he does commercial real estate for Colliers,
oh, nice.
so I might have actually been on this one, but. yeah.
Before, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
awesome.
sure.
All right, so I'm just gonna show you a couple tricks on here. So I'm looking at this radius tool right here. This is super helpful, especially when you're doing a specific listing, because I can do set radius from location, which is right here. And let's say I want to go, how far is this? I don't even know. However far that is out. Or I can change it up and say, I'm going to set radius. I'm gonna do it instead of from location. Oh, there we go. I'm a fourth of a mile. So I can do it from an address itself or even an MLS number. So you could look up your MLS number and say, what are the closest 20, houses within a mile of this MLS number. So instead of doing that, because I don't have an MLS number we're gonna look at, I'm gonna go, let's say, oh, whoops. No, it won't let me zoom out while I do this. We'll do that. So there is one listing within that whole radius. So we're at 435. Oh, this is Liz and Raj's listing, their twin home. Does this help us very much with your parents knowing how much that your parents' house is worth? No, it doesn't. Just because I'm assuming they have a single family.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just the fact that it's a twin home itself is not a good comparison, but anyway, so you can go back in here and you can, let's go back to clear criteria. You can go in here and you can choose to do a certain list price, which you don't want to do if you're trying to figure out the value of something. Change the status, do a certain property type. There's a lot of ways you can play around with this. I would encourage you to spend at least, we'll say 45 minutes on the MLS every single day. And go in and pick an area and become super familiar with that area. For example, let's say we want to say in Utah County, what is the average condo going for in Utah County? What are your guys' guesses?
320.
So there are 202 active condos. There it goes from 250 all the way to, oh, it's not right. Let's go to page 5. To 2 million.
Go back a page.
Does this seem like an outlier or what?
Not even big houses, Sundance, that's why.
Yeah, in Sundance, that's disgusting. But look, I mean, that's an important thing to know. when you're having a conversation with a client, you can be like, well, you want to buy a condo, great. Is your budget in the 300 range or the 2 million range? Because that's all, those are your options in Utah County, right? So we're on 4, so it drops from 1.9 to 900. So the high I would say is 550 on average, right? And so if you're looking for a range, you're probably in the mid 3s/low 4s, right? That seem fair? On average. A lot of these are 375. We go down to page 3,
350 average.
350 range. 330, so mid 3s, low 4s, unless you want to get a dinker, right? You should know things like the Lancelot, anything that's related to King Arthur, if it's in the address, is a crapshoot. You probably shouldn't recommend your client to buy one of these properties because the HOA is a nightmare. But the HOA is something like $400 a month. So let's look at it. 420. 420 a month for a dinker, 1 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed, 1 bath, 900 square foot condo in Provo because it's been mismanaged. And that's why.
So they're trying to.
So they're playing catch up. Yep. Right. And so anything that has to do with Lancelot or Arthur, or you'll see a bunch of Castle Drive. Like if it looks like a King Arthur legend street and it looks like too good to be true price, those are always the lowest condo on the market. That's why. So things like that, right? Like do some research, figure out like how much are condos going for in this area? How much are townhomes going for in this area? In Lehigh, what's the exchange like, right? You guys know that there's a place called the Exchange and there's like 400 townhomes in the Exchange alone in Lehigh, like some crazy amount of townhomes, right? We should know what that looks like in that environment, especially if you're working in Lehigh County. I mean, in Lehigh City. Anyway, use the MLS. This is the summary of this conversation. Use the MLS to figure those things out. Spend 45 minutes a day here in search, just doing research and trying to figure out things. Ask your clients what they're interested in. That's a great story. That's a great social media post. Hey, I'm trying to get really familiar with the county and I'm trying to become the best agent I can be. What are things that you're interested in? Are you interested in townhomes in this price point? Are you interested in sweet deals? Are you interested in duplexes or multifamilies? What the price range is for those? Financing options for those? Anyway, go.
Will you start with knowing your neighborhood first, or just any neighborhood?
That's a great question. I think that's totally dependent on what you want to do and also what your neighborhood looks like. Like if you're living in a neighborhood where someone is already established as the local neighborhood, like real estate expert, and you know who that is, it's whoever, Peter Morphle in Cinnamon Ridge, right? Or whatever it might be, right? And maybe that's not,
Go away from it.
yeah, maybe that's not the best place to put your focus on, right?
Right.
I mean, we're going to talk about this tomorrow in the shift side, but like you want to become the economist of choice, and you're the expert for the people that you know on Facebook and things like that, right? But not necessarily your neighborhood unless it's kind of like an open market and no one's really doing that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I mean, that's a great place to start because you live there.
Right.
And it's pretty easy to figure that out, right? But I would say there's no limit of niches of like what you should, maybe not should, but what you could know, I guess is a better way.
So doing like the story thing
Would be a great way because then you find the interest of the people that you know.
Mhm.
Also though, I would just start with the basics, right? What does single families look like in Utah County? What do condos look like? Like just switch off between condos, townhomes, and single families and get as much data as you can between those, the areas of location, right? Like if we're looking at a map in Utah County. I mean, I'm just talking Utah County. Salt Lake's probably a whole different beast, but like this area is very different than this area or this area, right? So be familiar with central Utah County in comparison to northern Utah County or western Utah County, right? In comparison to southern Utah County, right? Like make those your differentiating factors when you're running this research and trying to figure out what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That seem fair? Also, going back to statistics. Oh, Oh, wait, no, sorry, going back to home. These numbers here are awesome. You should know these numbers pretty consistently. I would probably do more county specific. So in Utah County, this number jumps up a little bit with residential. You could even change this. You can't change the property type. Oh well. You should know these numbers, like usually the numbers that I would recommend you know are the ones that they send out their email for. Have you guys seen those emails
From your car or the MLS?
from the MLS? Let's see if I can figure out where they put these. I wonder if they put them in here in like news or something. They have like a graph that they send out in an email. You guys have probably seen it all the time on Facebook from agents that you know. Let's just do that. So if I am, well, I don't know if Red Sign has shared it recently, but we'll use Red Sign as a great example. Look, someone just messaged me on Facebook about the market. Gotta love that. Marketplace, let's see here. Oh yeah, we're looking for Red Sign. Okay, Red Sign team. Red Sign's really good at this. So Red Sign comes down and they always share whatever, and they brand it themselves, but you can just literally copy and paste it, whatever the market is doing at the time, but it might only be in their story. I don't know if they put it on their page. I'm just looking really quick. I think that they don't put it on their page. Should have been more prepared for this. Sorry, guys. All right,
Let me see.
I
If it's
know.
on their story, would you do it weekly or?
Hang on, let me look in mine. Let's see, could I search my own page? Because I have done this before.
I don't know. I think you can just go to your own page.
Well, I'm on my page right now.
In the top right, click on your name, like your picture in the top right.
Well, I'm on my page. This is my page right now.
Oh, I thought you said you were looking for it.
No, I'm looking for searching on my page. It's not a way to search. All right, well, it's gonna take me forever to go through this. Oh, wait, you know what? I'll just go through photos. Let's see if we can find. Not photos that I'm tagged in though. My photos. I play a lot of disc golf and post a lot of pictures of my kids.
Cute family, bro.
Thanks. They are cute. They're freaking adorable. Also, my wife is smoking hot.
Nice.
All the things. All right, let's see here. Just give me an hour. I'll find it. It's been a minute since I've done it because there's like pros, there's pros and cons in my mind about posting these and knowing them. Because like, I don't know that your clients really care. Most of the people that you know really care about how many homes there are on the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's in my, so this is it. So they post something like this. And so I've kind of leaned away from doing this, but you know, everybody has their own opinion about this. Red Sign completely does not agree. Every single month that this comes out, so it's a monthly thing. Every single month that this comes out, they rebrand it to themselves and they share these stats. How many listings are currently on the market for residential? What's the median sold price and how has that gone up in the past year? And also the past month, right? How many single families? I mean, like you can see July 2021, we were at, where's the on the market? It's not on here. That's weird. All right, that doesn't really help us. Anyway, 209, right? Per square foot, 6 days on the market. Now we're in the 20s, right? Like it was a very different time. And so showing that comparison every single month, sometimes that's super helpful. Does
That is really cool.
that make sense? So these are, in my mind, the important numbers to show.
So you just take the numbers in the email and brand it to the computer more.
Or just post it itself, honestly. Like it doesn't really matter because the way that it's branded, it looks like I'm sure that I've just posted it just it itself. What was that? Oh, no, we had an ice skating event. Is that? Oh, yeah, we had an ice skating event. So I posted about it. Lots of disc golf and lots of kids. Jeez, it's like my entire life. All right, well, maybe I won't find it. But anyway, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, that's Peter.
I'm just getting another.
Yeah, there you go. You're good. You're just like looking into my life.
I know everything about you.
Oh, wow. Man, I feel like this should be like any second now. So I just keep going. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I knew it. So this is it. This is what it looks like. You've probably seen this all the time, right? Like, so we just rebranded it, but every single month, Utah Real Estate sends out an email with this. And this is exactly what it looks like. So it's not branded to anything specific, but it's like clean enough and looks really good that you can just post this alone. And so notice how I started out. There's a lot of numbers here, but the one I will point out is 9, right? I think it's important that you, as the market expert, summarize what this means, because no one really cares. Like, if I'm just your average Joe, not a real estate agent, I'm looking at these numbers, I'm like, holy cow, like, this is way too much.
And you probably don't know, like the average person doesn't know what the significant numbers are.
Yeah,
So that's where you
exactly.
point it out.
That's where you pointed out, you direct their focus onto whatever you think is the most important thing to talk about. Anyway, we're side checking here. Is that fair? Does that help?
Mhm.
Okay, we're moving forward. Okay, 3 types of real estate markets. I don't agree with this slide, but we'll talk about it. So a buyer's market is more than 7 months of inventory. Balanced market is from 5 to 7, and the seller's market is less than 5 months of inventory. What does that mean?
The homes on the MLS rate. So. Sure, because I think I remember Peter talking about it in one of the classes,
Uh-huh.
isn't it? If homes stopped getting put on the market, right?
Yep,
From where we are now, so 9,000,
yep,
it's how many homes or how many months we can go
yep.
until we have no more homes, right?
Exactly. That was perfect. That's exactly what it is. So however many homes are on the market, we're selling at a certain rate per month. Let's say we sell 2,000 a month and there's 10,000 on the market. That means that we have 5 months of inventory. Does that make sense? Because that kind of tells us what if we were to stop putting homes on the market altogether, that's where we're at. So the only reason why I don't agree with this slide is because I think these numbers are outdated. Peter and I have been talking about this at length, but pretty much we're feeling like less than 4 months and from 4 to 6. So like drop this all by a month, because right now we're at 5 months-ish.
Mhm.
And
So the buyer's market's 5 months? No.
no, so buyer's market is anywhere between, let's see, so this balanced market would be like from, I think 3 to 5 actually would be more of a balanced market. I mean, like, this is the doctrine according to Josh, right? So please don't take this like I see all of you writing this down, like, don't go to some meeting and be like, well, Josh said, right? Anywhere between, I think if you're in the 5 range for a balanced market, 4 to 6 is probably fair. This says 5 to 7. I think that's too high. The number you'll hear most of all is that a balanced market is 6. You'll hear that all the time, right? I think that's a little bit outdated. So we lean more closer to 4, but pretty much what's happening is that we're almost over the peak towards the buyer's market when we were just barely this here in a seller's market, which is crazy, right? But you should know this stuff. Does that make sense?
I've seen people on social media kind of say, like, there's a girl who is in South Valley,
Uh-huh.
or one of the Salt Lake ones.
Is it Kimber?
She was younger. I'm not super sure. Something Rose.
Oh, okay, keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, she was saying how we're in a super heavy buyer's market, but then I saw someone else saying, well, we're actually like, it can still be a pretty good seller's market right
Yeah.
now too.
Yeah, we're still like on that brink of like balance and sellers. I would say. I don't think we're in a buyer's market yet.
Yeah.
I think it's more of feeling like a balanced market, and so people feel like it's a buyer's market because it's balanced instead of so heavily
Because
seller.
we're not the extreme anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah, buyer's market looks like you put your listing on the MLS and you
You wait
sit
for a
for
while.
6 months.
Yeah.
Right? That's a long time. Like we're still we're still 4 weeks,
Right.
right? So, you know,
That's
it's,
right.
it's not, I mean, some
Yeah.
people are waiting months, but it's very rare.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, seller's market is, I mean, a buyer's market is like, you know, the 2009s of the day. Anyway, okay, moving forward. Oh, there you go. Number of properties for sale within a market. So you should know these numbers. What are the inventory of your market? What's the average number of days a home stays on the market? Right? Where is the easy place to find that? If you come here, right there. You log in, it's the first thing you see, average days on the market right now, 25. Right? So when you're having a conversation, someone's like, hey, I want to sell my house. The conversation is, it will take a month. Right? It's going to take us at least 4 months to get your home. I mean, 4 weeks, maybe not at least, but you should expect 4 weeks before we even go under contract. And that's a good conversation to have. That way their expectations are high and you don't have frustration because that comes from unmet expectations, right?
Is there any like bidding wars out there still?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like a crapshoot. It's a total crapshoot. It's totally dependent on the house and
Just kind of jumping into this all thing.
yeah, it's like kind of a sales market because it used to be always a bidding war, but now it's like sometimes you still have bidding wars. Sometimes you sit on the market for 6 weeks, and you don't have even a showing.
When do stuff with the bidding wars? Exactly.
It was probably March. Maybe early April, but that's when it like started tapering off.
Well,
Um,
My sister sold a property in Linden, it's under contract, and it had a huge bidding war,
yeah, this means she priced it right.
Yeah.
Right, that's the big thing, right?
and there's not very much for sale around there,
Yeah,
in the area where she's at.
Yep.
It was property.
yep. And that's the big tell, right? Because we are low on inventory,
Mhm.
right? We may have 3 or 4 months of inventory, but like, that's still not like a crazy amount, right? Based on inventory, what type of real estate market are you in, right? These are good questions to ask yourself. We're gonna move forward. Interest rates and lender regulations. So let's just talk about this for 2 seconds. When it comes to interest rates, you should be really buddy with a lender. And hypothetically, you should have that lender text you every week, ideally, of what's going on. Just like, hey, will you just give me an update every week? And they'd be totally happy. And they'll just send you a text, right? Like, hey, it looks like a average 30-year loan is at blank percent. If you're doing a 15, it's blank percent. If you're doing an FHA, it's blank percent, right? Whatever. One thing I like to do is, as I like to pick a website. Recently, what I've been picking is Rocket Mortgage because they're easier to follow. But you pick one place, and that's your go-to to figure out if rates are going up or down, pretty much. So right now, this is telling me that rates are going down. Rates went down between yesterday and today because this was 6.25% APR. Now it's at 6. So it just went down a little bit between yesterday and today, but we're still kind of in that high 5s, low 6s range, is what I would tell my clients. Does that make sense? And then I just use Rocket Mortgage because I can't remember who recommended it to me, but what basically the summary is, you pick a place and that's the place that you always go to. So you have consistent information on ups and downs of what's going on.
Are
That
you
makes sense?
signed in on that?
No,
I
no.
guess you're supposed to sign in when you go there. Are you supposed
To
sign
Rocket
in
Mortgage?
as a new agent? Should I sign into that?
Are you talking about Rocket Mortgage or the MLS?
Okay.
No. No, Rocket Mortgage is just like a mortgage company. I would never recommend a client use Rocket Mortgage, but I use it to kind of get an idea of where interest rates are at.
When
Yep.
you say pick a place, is that like Linden or?
No. I mean, like, pick a website, pick
Oh, okay.
a person that's posting interest rates
You just stick with them.
and just stick with that person so you can see the highs and lows and just kind of give ballparks. Never say, I think you can get blank interest rate. Always give a range, right? I think it's probably between 5.5 and 6 at this point, but you should talk to a lender because I'm not a lender, right? That's the conversation you have with your people. But you should know, right? Because if you're saying 4 right now, you're in trouble, right? And your client goes and talks to your lender and it's like, oh, hey, it's 5.7. They're like, what the heck? So one of the people in our team, she had a person under contract for a new build. And they were finally about to get to closing. They were probably a month out. And Kim calls them like, hey, you really need to get pre-approved. I mean, not pre-approved, but you need to get, your lending figured out because we're getting pretty close. And that client's response was, I'm really hoping that I get in the mid threes. That's what the client's response was. Because when they first went under contract with the new build, that's what they were looking at, was low threes, right? And so they knew rates went up, and so they're like, I'm really hoping for mid threes. At that point, we were at 5.5, right? And so that agent on our team had to have that conversation, right? Like, well, actually, they didn't. They said, you should talk to your lender because I think they've gone up, right? Like, they didn't want to be the bad guy, but like, that's that agent's bad, right? You should be keeping track of this and letting your clients know as things happen, what's going on, right? Any questions on that? Does that seem fair? Economic factors and employment rate. How are we in Utah? Super low. Nationally, we're low, right? Utah was rated the best economy in the US. I think it's been like 5 or 10 years running straight. This is a great place to be. How many workers are entering or exiting? I have no idea how to find that out. And there's probably a way to find these things out. What's the growth rate of your community? Anybody know? Triple by 2065. That's what the estimates were. So in 2019, they came out with a report that we're supposed to triple in population by 2065. Isn't that crazy? Just imagine what that's going to do to home prices. Double in home prices, but in the next 10 to 12 years. Again, we've already doubled in the past like 6, but again, in 10 to 12, that's what they're thinking. There haven't been any changes to rules and regulations that might affect the housing market. Right? I don't know how many. I mean, I feel like every day I hear about some kind of bill that might pass, about something. And so I'm just like, if it passes, I'll find out about it. Okay, other important market factors, neighborhood numbers, nearby shops and restaurants. So this seems like a lot. And it is, but I would take, I said 45 for the MLS, maybe take the other 15 to just know where things are, right? Like drive down to Saratoga and get a feel for the area, right? Know where Patriot Park is, because that's a really important park down in Saratoga. That's like a really nice park near a lot of stuff. Know that there's like, I used to live in the Eagle Mountains, so I know these things, but know that there's a nice hot springs down there that's like community specific, and some of the HOAs only allow you access if, does that make sense? Like things like that. Really? Yeah. You live in that HOA?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Like know specifics about communities and take time every day to figure out a little tidbits about different communities. These are things you can Google, right? What are the best places to look at in Saratoga? What are the best places to look at in Eagle Mountain? So on and so forth, okay? All right, let's take a 10-minute break after we talk about ahas. It's already 10:20. Oh my gosh, I talk way too much. Go. Ahas. Great.
The story idea of kind of just asking your followers or with their friends and family, like interesting stuff that they might want to hear. So like if they're thinking, oh, a townhome would be nice in a couple months, then they can pick your brain about it now.
Yep.
Or anything like that. And the monthly post of the numbers. I would want to start doing that.
Great.
Yeah.
You guys know the 80-20 rule, right?
Mm.
Talk about that tomorrow. So it's 80% of your posts are not about real estate. That should just be your standard. If you're on social media, 80% of your posts should not be about real estate, right? Do your hobbies, do your family, and then 20% is totally about real estate.
Would you suggest doing like a separate like real estate page or just keep it all?
I would not.
Okay.
I would definitely not.
Yeah.
Just because like, who wants to actually follow your real estate
Right.
page?
Right.
Does that make sense? Like nobody, right? Like your uncle will because he loves you, right? But like, does he really want to? No, but does he care about you and your family? And is he okay with you throwing in a couple real estate posts here and there? Yeah. And that's like, for me, like, that's what I would want. I don't want to, people invite me to their personal pages about whatever company, doTERRA or whatever, right? Like whatever thing that they're doing, their side hustle. And I don't want to follow their business page. Like, if you post about the deal that's going on, like, hey, maybe I'll jump on it if I'm interested at that time, but anyway, does that make sense?
Maybe, well,
There is.
at the same time,
It's at 11. Is that what you're talking about? The shift class?
Yeah.
The shift class is tomorrow at 11.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It's about helping overcome the changing market, basically. Any other ahas you guys want to talk about?
I think it's more so, I need to start, studying more about the market and all that stuff that was on your real estate. I need to be more updated on that, because there's nothing really, don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, I would pick a city a week
Yeah.
and just really look into that city every week. Just make that your thing. Yeah, just simplify your life. Anything else? Okay, go potty, get a drink. I say go potty because I have kids, so whatever you need to do, we're gonna start in 6 minutes, 10:30. Okay, let's dive back into it. Build your expertise, become the real estate expert of choice. So I showed you a little bit about my page, but like I love when posting to post a picture about something happening in the market and then to give my thoughts on it when it comes to becoming the economist of choice. I just feel like you guys, as a real estate agent, you need to know what's going on and be able to explain it in a way that is super basic for your people. Like this post right here is about like what the heck is going on. See if I can zoom in on, oh, whoops. See if I can zoom in on that one. No, but you know what we can do? I think this one's a good one to look at. Let's go here for 2 seconds. Give you an example post. Just posted about my class. No, that's about the other class. This guy's asking me questions about the market. Oh, almost there, almost there. I just posted this.
What you said for social media, like the 80-20 rule, I have my main account and it's obvious I'm a realtor and I post every once in a while, like rarely, but then I have a separate account I post on every single day. And so if anyone really wants to learn anything, like it's in my bio, so they just click on it and it's just everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too.
And you do that with Insta and on Facebook too?
Yeah, and Facebook and TikTok.
So that is definitely the 80-20 rule only applies to personal pages.
Okay.
He's absolutely right.
I don't know, yeah, sure.
And-
And I can post anything on the other ones too, I just haven't done
And when you dive deep into, this is actually a really good clarification. If you're going to commit to social media, you should definitely have a real estate only page. Does that make sense? Like Becca Summers does TikTok. She has a TikTok page that's totally dedicated to real estate and she posts every single day
Oh, wow.
a video about something
Mhm.
on TikTok, right? Like if that's what you're gonna do, absolutely you should have a page that's dedicated to real estate because that's what that page is for.
Do you,
Right.
Sawyer, do you get a lot of traffic from your personal page over to your real estate page? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no statistics on it, but
You can do, because we have our own Instagram real estate and then both of our separate ones. We post on the real estate page, then we just put that post on our personal story.
yeah. I do that.
Because I mean, they might not necessarily go and follow our real estate account,
Mhm.
but they'll at least see the post.
And then they can. go
And then
check it
if
out
they're
if they want.
interested, yeah, like I
Yeah.
had a buddy the other day, who doesn't follow our real estate page, but he responded to my story and asked me questions about real estate.
Okay.
So it's just, you don't have to follow me, but you're getting it through more honest.
Yeah. Just talk about it.
So this is a post that I did. It's called What is Going On? Because in June, it just kind of felt like there were so many things going on and we're like, where are interest rates gonna be? Like, what is going on? So I wrote about it. I addressed it like, this is what's happened in the past little bit. This is what the chart is showing, and this is where I think we're gonna end up. Like, this is what this looks like. This is what this means, 6 months down the road. I don't know if you want to read this. It's pretty long, but pretty much like we had COVID. This is what the government decided to do. I mean, like, I'm being totally, what's the word? Not diplomatic, neutral. I'm not saying anything is good or bad, right? Like, this is what happened. This is where we're at. Now we have higher interest rates. This chart shows that that's what this means, and this is what it means going into the future. I'm watching smart market constantly, I love chatting real estate to reach out for any of your buyers, right? Like, basically, I'm trying to simplify or summarize the weird feeling that everybody was feeling at that time of like, what is going on? Does that make sense? And so becoming an economist of choice, that's what we mean, right? When you're talking about how recession is different than a housing crisis, you're talking about how I'm hosting this was for a class, so this isn't kind of really, but this is about investing in real estate, right? Like we have dabbled, that's what it says. We have dabbled in real estate investing, right? We used to own 4 properties, we just sold one to buy a different one. But right, like we own properties because we're in real estate. Oh, that's another thing. If you're gonna be the economist of choice and or a real estate agent, please buy a property as quick as you can. Don't be the agent that's 5 years into it and still doesn't own a home and has helped 10 people buy real estate, but don't really understand what they're talking about because they haven't bought their own. Anyway, that's just a side note. Any questions on this, being the economist of choice? Okay, moving forward. Those are suggestions, know your lore. Oh, language of real estate. You're gonna hear a lot of acronyms when you're in this industry. You should always ask what they mean if you don't know. Does that seem fair? Like, always be that guy. Always be the one that's not assuming that you're weird because you don't know, or that it's not a good question. It is a good question because there's probably 6 other people in the room that the instructor assumed knew what he was talking about that didn't know what he was talking about. So this class included, right? If I'm using any vernacular that you're not familiar with, please let me know. Know your business, okay. Know your buyers, show your sellers. I'm just debating what I want to focus on. Learn your clientele. Listen to individuals. We'll talk about that more in just a second. Okay, this is a good one. Keep headlines in context. How many of you read the news? Right? Does the news seem totally, what's the word? Not scary. Polarized, I would say. By polarized, I mean like it's either everything's gonna be fine or the sky is falling, right? Like, yeah, right? And so you are in charge, like your job as a real estate agent, as the economist of choice, is to neutralize those feelings. Does that make sense? Because neither of them are true, right? Because everything isn't totally fine, because people are feeling it. And also the sky isn't falling, all right? The sky falls every 8 years or so in this economy, right? Like, that's just the nature of economy, is that the sky falls every once in a while, and we haven't dealt with it, so we're not used to it. But it doesn't matter, because every single time we figure out a way to pull ourselves out of it, we just need to know what to do moving forward. Does that make sense? And you don't have to know what it is that you need to do moving forward, but at least go in with that mindset. Like, the sky, like, both are wrong. The sky is not falling, and also everything is not fine. And that's it.
Yeah, the answer to that yesterday was said, let people ask, how's the market? Did you spend?
Yeah, it depends. So, yeah,
Are you selling, are you buying? Is interest rates going up or down?
Yeah. Yep. One of my favorite shirts.
Really, it's what, you don't want to take sides. Some people have a conspiracy angle and all that, but they don't want to engage in that.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm telling my buyers, look, you're buying a house, you're probably going to be underwater. There's a high chance that you will.
Oh, you're actually telling them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're going to buy your house, and a year from now, it may be worth less than what you're paying now. But what you're buying is the interest rate. You're going to get a better interest rate, and that's not going to last. At least I don't think so. I don't think it's going to last. So if you're going to plan on staying in this house in 5 years, like, you need to be the one that has that conversation with them, because yes, the sky is falling. Like, yes, you might be underwater, but we're going to set that expectation up right now, and that's a normal thing. Houses go underwater all the time. I mean, like, not literally underwater, right? Like, we're not talking like, but like, values go up and down. That's the nature of owning real estate. And if the plan is that you're gonna stay in this house until you either have to move or you feel like the equity is enough. And as long as you're going in it with that mindset, you're gonna be totally fine. And it's probably gonna go up, maybe even in the next 2 years, right? But I don't know that. Does that make sense? So you're the one having those conversations. So when you're keeping headlines in context, that's what I mean, right? Any questions on that? This was a way shorter section, but any ahas you guys want to share from that?
I just like what you said about being upfront with your clients about you might be underwater, but, and then put the positive spin on it about, but what we're getting for you here is a better interest rate.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I just think that's
Yeah.
a good way to go.
Well, and the key with that is that if you don't tell them up front,
Yeah.
then you're the bad guy later.
Well, because they view you as an expert.
Exactly.
So you have to be able to manage that expectation.
Yep.
Okay,
Like, here's the pros and cons of what you're buying right now.
yeah.
This is where it could end up. This is where, well, I see it ending up
Mhm.
in 3 years, right? Like, every time somebody is buying in real estate, they should always buy in the long game. If they're buying in the short game, then there are risks and they should know those risks up front. And so, like, even that comment, right? It's not a good thing. I would never say that,
Okay.
right? Because
Yeah, you're right.
like, you're always the neutral party.
Yeah.
You're just trying to give information and help them understand what they're getting into. Because if you're this is a good or this is a bad idea person, unless you phrase it of, I'm just gonna give you my opinion here.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Like, you want to try to remain the neutral party and just kind of present facts as they are and give advice as they see the need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other ahas from that? You guys feel good? Move forward. We're like 40 minutes out from being done. Are you so excited? Just relieved? There's a light. Actually, we might even be closer than that. How far are we? We're getting there. I'm gonna skip through a ton of slides because some of these are like, okay, utilize the apps, right? We talked about the KW app. I'm not gonna go too deep into command, but you have command and you have apps and they are awesome. This wants you to download the app now. We're not gonna go through that. Establish your business on social media. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow, but this has a 10-5-5 rule. I like the 5-5-5 because I feel like it's less. Have you guys heard of the 5-5-5 rule on social media? What is it?
5 comments,
Uh-huh,
5 likes,
uh-huh.
um,
No, not 5 likes.
right,
So this has 10 likes,
oh, okay,
but I don't like that because likes mean nothing.
right.
And you're just gonna go through and like people's posts anyway. So 5 comments,
Oh, 5, is it 5 like direct messages or something like that?
5 comments per day. 5 DMs per day. And then 5 posts per week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
5 DMs, let's talk about that. Does that feel like a lot?
No, you can just light up on some story and be like, oh.
That's it. That's the answer. Yep. The stories. It is if you're just direct messaging them for no reason. But if you're commenting on their stories, that's the easy way to get DMs in. Right? Be interactive on social media. If you want to go down this route. If you're like, social media is dead to me, then come to my class tomorrow and hopefully I'll change your mind because you're a dinosaur if you feel that way. Just kidding.
So in those 5 posts, you would maybe only do 1 or 2 that are real estate related.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, like, these are the minimums, right? Like, I mean, these are not even the minimums. I don't DM 5 people a day. I probably should DM 5 people a day, but like, some of these are trickier than it sounds, right? But I post way more though. Like, I post way more than 5 times a week. I guess if that's if you include stories. Like, stories you should do absolutely at least once a day. Like, my opinion of stories is you should always have a story up. Does that make sense?
Always have one going.
At least one story up at all times, like something for people to look at, right? Yeah. Because stories are easy. Like, everybody take out your phone right now. Take a selfie. I'll do it too.
That's really easy.
Put a story up about the fact that you're in Ignite and you're trying to learn about how to be a good real estate agent. I'm gonna post a story about how I'm teaching tonight. It's hashtag swag. Just kidding.
There's just quick videos of everyone, just so everyone knows. I've been making it right now.
Every once in a while, people will walk up to me in this office and be like, will you be in my TikTok? I'm like, sure. It's always awkward, but it's fun. Like, do that. Like stories are those things where everybody overthinks stories, especially if you're not doing them. The only reason why you're not doing it is because you're overthinking it. You're just posting about what you're doing right now.
And so in the last Ignite classes, then I think maybe it was Kevin
Uh-huh.
that taught this one.
Okay.
Cause I remember when he was saying when he would post on social media, he would try and subtly put real estate into his post.
Uh-huh. Yep.
He would take a selfie of him with a hot chocolate machine here.
Uh-huh.
Be like, oh, the office just got a hot chocolate machine, like totally gonna be drinking hot chocolate every day. People will know you're in the office, but you're not upfront saying, hey, I'm at my real estate office, like,
Yep.
I do real estate.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That helped me with like the social media posts as well.
Yep. Well, and also like you guys do way more interesting things than you realize every single day. Like seeing homes is interesting to people. Like people literally go on social media just so they can watch people walk through homes, right? So do that. Be that person that's walking through nice homes or interesting homes or homes that need to be flipped. Anyway. Like for example, oh, here's a great example. Have you guys ever met Chandler Call? Let's see if Chandler's story comes up here really quick on the homepage. So Chandler, there's Taylor. He might not. If it's not gonna come up in like 2 seconds, I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. So Chandler works for Taylor Frampton. He runs Frampton Flips. And literally all Chandler does is find houses that are old and decrepit and purchase them and then flip them. That's what he does for his life. And like for Chandler, that's his every day. But for us, we're like, that's so cool. And so on Chandler's story, he's always posting like things like, check out this toilet. And it's this like bright orange toilet that was like made in the early 40s, right? Like that's like totally decrepit. And you're like, what the heck is that? Or like, look at this secret door, you know, like for him, it's just like, just runs into weird stuff all the time. But for us, it's like, this is amazing. I love watching Chandler's stories because it's super interesting stuff. But anyway,
What's it called?
Frampton Flip,
Is it on Facebook or Instagram?
both. All right, so that's social media. I'm gonna go into way more depths with that tomorrow. In that shift class. So if you want to come, should be good. Hopefully we'll get some good ahas there. All right, any ahas from that?
Just the story of the thing, I like.
Yeah.
Even if it's not something super interesting, but you're just in top of mind again.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes they're not super interesting, but I really think like be thinking about this throughout the day because you come across way more interesting stuff or do way more interesting things than you realize. You guys are in the industry of interesting things. Yeah, exactly. Like how many times do people go to the ER? How many times do they come to the grocery store and they see a fruit that they've never seen before? Like, what the heck is this? Right? Like, that's the story, right? Like, you know, like you're just walking around in your daily life and you're seeing things that you've never seen before. But anyway, or if it's not interesting. My kids are super interesting now, so I'm just kidding. All right, so recap, know your market, build your expertise. Oh wait, why do I feel like I'm missing something important here? Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. Did I put it on here? Yeah, okay. Okay, so recap. Well, we're not gonna recap. Any questions about today? Is there anything about any of these things that you would like me to cover before we move forward? Let me zoom in, so we're not like
I
squinting.
would like to, that's one thing.
Great, shoot. Yeah, next session is Friday, yeah.
Like what the class will be.
No, what the manual one. What sessions have we been coming?
Oh,
Oh, we're on 4, I think. We're on
yeah.
Ignite session 4.
So this is with the older packet. They kind of shortened it, right? And so,
Oh, I got you. Doesn't follow along.
yeah, so they didn't do 1 through 3, they started.
No, they did when we started at 3 today.
Seriously?
Yeah. They was
Okay.
Oh, 03, yeah. See, I even know.
Yeah. I was going off of that first slide you showed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was 3 though, because it has 4 in the first area and then we were
Oh,
number 3.
okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so know your market, build your expertise. Any questions on any of these things? Guys feel good? Okay. Before we dive into doing things, because that's what Ignite is all about. So you're gonna become the economist of choice, you're gonna become an expert in the field, and you're gonna be calling your people, which we'll talk more about, but when you're calling your people, there's Kimber. When you're calling your people, we're gonna talk about the Ford method. Okay? Have you guys heard about the Ford method? Tell me about what the Ford method stands for those who've heard it.
So it's pretty much a script that you use when you're calling your sphere of influence.
Uh-huh,
And so the F stands for family.
uh-huh.
So you'll ask questions about their family. The O is occupation, so ask questions about their job. And if any of this still going.
No, you're good, keep going.
R is recreational, so what hobbies they're doing or anything like that. And then the D is dreams. So you can talk about their dreams for this upcoming year, their goal for the year, kind of what they're shooting for, what they want to be doing. And then one thing Riley taught us was kind of get 3 questions deep. So instead of kind of just, how's your family? Oh, how's your job?
Mm.
Oh, how's your mom doing? I know she was sick last month. Oh, okay, sweet. Well, what was she sick with, right? And then you just keep asking, and then it kind of just will naturally start flowing, and you'll know, okay, how's your job now? And then, oh, you don't like it? What's been going on? Like, you thinking of changing jobs soon? You're like, oh, I saw you had a post about golfing. How's golfing been? Like, do you guys go a lot? There's stuff like that. And then what I've noticed, because they obviously see what you're doing too. So then they'll start asking you questions. And then with occupation, you're always
That's your
gonna-
tie-in.
Yeah, exactly. You're always gonna run into, oh, I saw you're doing real estate now. How's that? And then boom, you talk about real estate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if you ever come across somebody, I would love it if you set me up on a group text.
yeah,
Right. So there's 2 things that come from that comment. Oh, man. All right, I'm gonna try not to fire hose. Back to that occupation, back to referrals, actually. You guys should teach your people how to give you referrals. Like, make that a standard practice. Anytime somebody sends you a referral, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for telling your Aunt Karen about me. Next time, I would actually love it if you did this. I love it when people set me up a group text. Because then I have their contact information and it feels less weird for them because they're not giving me their number. They're just setting them up on group text, right? It's like, hey, we talked about Josh, the real estate agent I know. This is his number. I thought I'd set you up on a group text in case you guys wanted to connect. Or whatever. Great, thanks so much. I have 2. I had appointment last night, like 9. Who has appointments at 9? And then I have one on Thursday before I teach. Right before I teach, I've got a Zoom call with a buyer because I taught my clients how to set me up on a group text and they did it twice so far. Right? Anyway,
That's awesome.
occupation. So with the Ford method. Oh my gosh, I love that Riley also taught you 3 questions deep. I think that's so great. How do you know? I taught Riley about 3 questions deep
Yeah.
back in the
If
day.
you have help us that with dreams and goals. One thing that has helped me is I shared my goals, so we'll be like, oh, like our goal is to help 15 families. Either by yourself, because then you're not upfront asking me, or hey, do you know anyone? But you're like, this is my goal, can you help me achieve my goal? Because then they almost feel a part of it also, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So like, my goal is to help 15 families, like. I know we're pretty close. Do you know anyone that is looking to buy or sell that you could help me achieve my goal? Because not only are you helping them, then they're in return helping you.
Yeah.
So,
that's great. Yeah, 3 questions deep. I want to go back to that really quick. Well, actually, let's just talk through this really quick. Family, how's your family? Occupation, how's your job? Recreation. I know that you love to play golf. Have you been playing golf recently? I just want to make sure you guys understand what these mean. Dreams, right? Like, did you guys have New Year's goals? What were they? You know, did you guys have a dream to go live in Hawaii one day? How's that coming? We should make a game plan for that. I know, great. Yeah, let's talk about pricing in Hawaii, right? Just kidding. So that's the Ford method, right? And I love this. Just use this with your phone calls. Don't call for any reason but to go through this. Right? This is your reconnect with your people. Oh, 3 questions deep. So with 3 questions deep, I want to do an example of that. Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer? Let's do a 20-minute. Okay, I'm gonna go with you, Jenna.
Okay.
We're gonna do a 20-minute, no, not 20-minute, but however long it takes to go through this. And I'm gonna act like I'm calling you.
Okay.
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 And well, we'll just have a conversation actually, so it's not like weird. Yeah.
Like
Hello. Okay, so tell me about your family.
6 kids. Only 2 left at home. My daughter plays softball competitively, so we're pretty busy with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have 2 left at home.
Mhm.
Who are the 2 that are at home?
Jack and Madeline.
Okay,
Yeah, Jack graduated last year and Madeline's 16.
okay. How does it feel to only have 1 more though?
It feels good.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can see the end,
yeah.
but it's kind of sad, kind of hard.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Just, kind of the end of an era, like having, sometimes the house seems lonely.
Hmm.
Yeah, so,
Do you feel like you're giving up a part, like a big part of your life that has always been a part of your life?
yeah.
Going into this new
Yeah.
era? What does that
Yeah.
feel like?
Sometimes it's okay, sometimes, like I said, it's hard, like, I think back to when they were little and, they were so much more physical work. It's like, there was a lot of reward.
Yeah,
Teenagers don't really give you a ton of reward all the time.
yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's totally fair.
Yep.
Are you excited moving into this new phase or are you just
yeah. Really excited.
terrified?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're gonna do with your spare time?
Actually, I just started selling real estate.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Awesome. Tell me about that.
Signed with Keller Williams not too long ago.
Oh, that's a crappy company.
And and it's great. I love it. I love the culture. I love the people. And I would really like to help as many people as I can. My goal for this year is 10. If I can help 10 people buy or sell a home or, make their dreams come true, that's kind of what I want to do.
That's awesome. What got you into real estate? Why do you want to do that?
I could have gone back easily to corporate American. I didn't really want to do the full 9 to 5 grind.
Mm,
And I love people and I love like interacting with people and talking to them. So, yeah, it was just kind of a natural thing. I like to help people.
okay.
Yeah.
What did you not like about the 9 to 5 grind? I love my 9 to 5.
I didn't feel like I had my own time to be able to do things that fell within that 9 to 5 thing. So like, for instance, my daughter plays competitive softball. So
Mm,
there's a lot of times like we have tournaments start on a Thursday. So we have to be at the softball field at like 10 o'clock.
yeah,
And that's kind of hard with the 95 grind.
yeah.
But I made a lot of really great friends there and had a lot of great experiences. So I wouldn't trade it for anything, but
Yeah,
just a different part of my life.
yeah, okay. Do you feel like with your kids moving out that the 9 to 5, I mean, not the 9 to 5, but like all those extracurricular activities that you felt like were being interfered with, do you feel like that's gonna change?
Yeah, a little bit, but I kind of like the idea of having, doing my own thing,
Your own thing, your own time.
my own time. Yeah.
Guys, pause. Do you understand how, have you been catching that I'm not letting her get away with just saying something and then moving on?
And
from
I'm
it?
totally trying to.
Yeah, exactly. She's totally trying to, and that's what we do. Like, we're just kind of like, I don't want to tell you about my feelings,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm gonna just move
I just
on
want to
from
keep a
this.
high level.
Yeah, I want to keep a high level,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I noticed you said, how do you feel about that? And I like that.
yeah,
Yes.
like having conversations with people is about going deeper.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With all of these, right? Where are we at right now?
That's the,
Your occupation.
We're kind of at occupation. We're kind of in a mix of recreation and occupation, because my question was, what are you gonna do now with all your spare time, or whatever my question was, right? Like,
And I didn't really.
I was kind of leading into recreation, but then you went into occupation because you had an agenda, right? You wanted to tell me something about something, which is
Yeah.
great. She wants to tell me about something, I'm gonna let her. Let's go down that path. Like, let's talk more about it. Why are you doing this? What are you excited about? What's your goal here, right? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So 3 questions deep is all about having conversations with people and making it not be surface level. Right? And now these conversations are gonna be not your 4-minute. How's it going? Oh, it's good. How's the family? Oh, they're doing great. Perfect. Anything I can do with you for you? No? Okay, well, have a great, see you, Greg,
Yeah.
like,
There's no connection there.
there's no connection there, right? Like, we're,
a little trick.
yeah,
We'll call somebody.
yeah,
Be on the, I don't want anything, I'm not interested. Or knocking on their, I don't want anything, I don't.
yeah, well, exactly. Well, and ideally, these are not cold calls, right? You're calling your SOI, so they're people that you actually know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But you can use this with anybody, right? Like, I use this with people all the time. I love going 3 questions deep.
Well, once
You're
you get
really
to
good
that
at it.
Well, I've practiced it a lot.
Once you get to that level, you can talk to them about it, they come to and not feel like you're selling something.
Yeah. Well, and there comes a point where it feels awkward to go 3 questions deep, and it's because you're not used to doing it. We're used to having conversations at surface level, right?
What do you mean 3 questions? You mean 3 questions each, for each letter?
For everything.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much like you're trying to get 3 questions deep, yeah, with each
3 times 4.
one of these letters.
So like the whole, how do you feel, of like what he asked would be like another question diving deeper.
Diving deeper into how do you feel about the fact that your kids are leaving, right? Like, because like she has feelings about the fact that her kids are leaving, and she's probably telling her close friends, and you're getting to that level, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out where these people are at.
Yeah.
We love talking about ourselves. Have you noticed how much I've been talking about myself? Right? Like, that's the nature of people. And so get them to talk more. Tell me more.
Once you break through the barrier. Well, you're just calling it because you're just a newly licensed real estate, I don't trust you.
Yeah, well,
It could be a warm call or something.
and that's why you don't even, that's why we don't bring up being a real estate agent, right? In these
Yeah.
conversations, unless it comes up naturally, right? Okay, so that's our role play. Was that helpful to kind of like
Oh, yeah.
feel through that?
It's great to have a whole place.
Okay. What time is it?
11:03.
Okay, I want you to find. Oh, man, there's 2 ways I want to do this. I would love to pick 2 people for you to call in your phone. How would you feel about that? If I picked 2 people in your phone for you to call, and you had to call them with the Ford method, would you feel comfortable with that? Because here's the problem. If I say I want you to call 2 people, the problem is that if I want you to call 2 people, if I just say that, you're gonna pick the 2 people you feel most comfortable with right now at this moment. Right?
Mm.
So I want to avoid that. What about 1? I pick 1 person that you have to call until you get a hold of somebody. And that's what we're gonna do for the rest of the class, is we're gonna practice the Ford method. But I'm gonna pick 1 person in your phone that you have to call. Does that seem fair? It might be your ex-boyfriend, just kidding. Hopefully you don't still have them. in your phone. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, who's first? You first?
Sure.
All right,
I'm scared.
I'm gonna pick warranty center. Just kidding.
Wait, so do I have to like call right now?
Yes,
Oh, I'm stressed.
Christina Small.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dang it.
Repick.
Repick. No, so I want you to leave. Yeah, because I'm gonna start it here, but you go out and have a phone call with them. You're gonna go through the whole Ford method. So bring a paper, write down notes, put those notes of what you talk about in your CRM, in command. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's why we have CRMs, is so we keep track of these conversations. So next time when you call Christina, right? Is that who I picked? When you call Christina and she told you about how she's looking at a new job, that's your follow-up call, right? Like, you told me about the new job you were thinking about, right? Like, tell me what, like, did that work out or whatever, right? Whatever you talk about, you remembered the next time you call her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay, so you go. Who's next? Anywhere you want, just not in this room because it's too echoey and there's too many people. We're gonna go in the P's. Paulette Benson.
Okay,
Okay.
so I.
I want someone to be like,
I haven't talked to
no.
her in a long time.
Okay,
So what if I can't get a hold of her?
you just keep calling. I'm just kidding.
Camera listen.
Just I need you now. You text her. Just kidding. You can't get a hold of her, then you can't get a hold of her, but try to get a hold of her. And if she answers, I mean, if she doesn't answer, call someone else, just so that
Okay.
you can get some practice in.
Okay,
Then you can pick what you want.
okay.
All right, I'm coming your way, Aaron. I'm just going around.
Here, you can just go on my phone.
Ready?
Yeah.
Robert Fields. That's your person.
I don't think she can. This is another real.
Perfect. Hey, guys, do you call people outside of the state? Why? Why do we call people outside of the state? Yeah.
Oh, wait, or for.
Because we know, we're a real estate
Is it
expert.
important?
We know people, we don't know. And then you get a 25% control. Oh, yeah, so then you can call the agent in that area, find an agent, I can show you how. And just be like, hey, I got a referral for you. I want 25% referral. I've closed probably 5 deals outside the state.
That's so cool.
Super easy. Let's see here. Molly Kearns, I'm just. Just walk up. Let's do Andrew Mitchell. Okay. Like I'm the bearer of bad news.
Right.
Go in the
No,
news.
I'm not so nervous.
You don't. So I'm gonna go with, no,
Why did be someone I just called?
Tyler Glazer. Glazer.
Perfect. Wait, what?
Did you do the Ford method with him?
No, we talked about fantasy football.
That's what you, this is your contact.
It's good.
You just called me yesterday and I'll forget him. I'm okay with not doing that. Oh, great. Tyler Glazer.
I did.
Dang it. Were you in the team or something?
Yeah.
All right, let's do Anthony Ridge.
I don't even know who
Great. How does that go then? You call me and say, hey, is this Anthony? Yeah, it's Anthony. Hey, Anthony, I have your number in my phone. Do you know why I have your number in my phone?
Yeah.
That's the conversation you have. And then you're like, how do I know you? And then just talk to that. Maybe you don't do the Ford method and sit there. You don't know what's happening. But like, what do you do? I'm just trying to clean out my phone and figure out if I want to keep contact that person. I'm a real estate agent. Do you want to keep contact? No? Okay, great. Well, have a great day. Have a great life. Carrie Driggs.
She picked one for me.
Okay, great.
This person. I have a question on here. Why isn't this letting me, I'm trying to edit my Keller Williams website because I got a new number, but it's not letting me change this.
Real estate coach.
She right here.
That one?
It's not letting me change it. And then,
It might be a default number that you have in your profile.
well, this is, yeah, well, then I go to my profile where is it?
It's yours.
Could be worse.
The first
I
thing.
just had it right here. Well, I guess I can start here. My profile's updated with the correct number.